Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. It is game day, at least for some teams. We've got 46 players that are on the COVID reserve list right now, and it's getting harder out here for a pimp to get this stuff going. I'm going to try and enjoy each and every game that we can. We'll be live streaming coming up in about 50 minutes. The Giants game, the Giants versus the Bengals. Yeah, we're gonna watch it, of course. We got to see. We're gonna play the Bengals in a couple weeks without their quarterback, and we have to finish off the season against the Giants. So this is a chance for the Giants to literally take over first place in the NFC. So that's kind of important. But I've been told that I've been too negative on everything about the Cowboys and stuff, and that I'm taking it too seriously and things. And I'm a realist. I'm not gonna sugarcoat things. I'm not gonna bullshit you. I'm gonna tell you how I feel and what I see. And I've got a lot of questions, as we all should, when your team is 2-8. It's 2-8 or 2-9. 2-9. What are we? I'm literally 2-9. I'm literally. Is it 2-9? We got 5 games left. Yeah. Wow. We suck. But there is some good news out here. So I want to actually focus in on some of the better news that we have. Actually, a couple of players on the defense that we had question marks about and weren't sure what we were going to get. One being Van Der Esch. Van Der Esch coming off of the neck injury, surgery and stuff in the off season, and you wondered, is this going to be lingering? And then the first game of the season, he ends up breaking his collarbone, and it just looks bad. So we looked at this and said, well, maybe they should shut him down for the season. Maybe it was a wasted pick. Here we go again. But Leighton Van Der Esch, contrary to Jalen Smith, it seems like those two guys are going in different directions. We'll deal with Jalen Smith at another time. Everybody's talked about Jalen Smith and that situation to the nth degree. But what we haven't really looked at is how Van Der Esch, coming back from the neck surgery as well as the broken collarbone, how he is actually coming on and actually playing really, really well and gives you hope for the future. First of all, the fact that he came back from the broken collarbone and he's been able to stay on the field. His first game of the season, of course, was against the Rams. He had 2 solo tackles and 3 total tackles in the game, paid 32% of the plays. Week number 2, where he got hurt, I'm sorry, yeah, that was it. That was all he played. He came back in week 6 against Arizona and had 2 tackles, 1 assist. Nothing to write home about. And he looked like he was hesitating. He played 52% of the snaps. And you kind of wondered, okay, was he fool's gold? But since that time, he's been playing more and more of the snaps. Okay, the next week against Washington, he played 97% of the snaps. He was out there the whole game. 9 solo tackles, 12 combined. All of a sudden, okay, he's tackling. Against the Eagles, not so good. 1 tackle, 1 solo, no big deal. But after that, he ended up playing 6 total tackles against Pittsburgh, 12 against Minnesota, and 7 this past week, including a tackle for a loss. So you look at that and say, okay, we can build around Van Der Esch. We can hope that he's not going to have, the Sean Lee effect where he's going to have a lot of injuries, but he is coming along. And the thing I will say about Van Der Esch is he's better at taking angles and actually hitting guys and not getting carried down the field. So I feel good about Van Der Esch in the linebacking core. We know Sean Lee is definitely, he's at the end of his career. He's been a warrior for us, but, at some point you got to say we have to get younger. Hopefully Joe Thomas will start playing more and more again, and we'll see some things with him. And hopefully Jalen Smith will start getting back to where he was a couple of years ago. And we have 5 games left to figure that out. So That's one of the positives that I definitely like having on our defense. Another one is actually Randy Gregory. Now, Mike Fisher last week did an article and said that has Randy Gregory fallen out of favor with the Cowboys, because when we look at his numbers, it looked like against Minnesota, he only played 25% of the snaps, which wasn't really good. But we also heard that he was out sick. He missed a lot of practice during the week. And the question is, was that it, or was it something with the coaching? Because again, Mike Fisher implied that it was something with the coaching. But he has been coming along like gangbusters and really gives you a lot of hope for the future, because first game he played, after being suspended and, of course, not having the off season like everybody else did, against Washington, he played 6 plays in special teams, no tackles. But against the Eagles, 4 solo tackles and 1 quarterback hit. Hey, that's twice what you've gotten from Tyrone Crawford all season long. Against Pittsburgh, 2 solo tackles, tackle for a loss, and a quarterback hit. Hey, I like that. Now again, Minnesota, he only played 25% of the snaps. Against Pittsburgh, he played 58% of the snaps. And he's still getting his body in shape and still learning, because he still will make some boneheaded, unnecessary roughness calls. He'll end up, he's so aggressive that sometimes he'll hit the quarterback down low or late and things like that. But those things will come in time. It's just he is still a raw talent, and he needs a lot of work with the coaches. So he had, in that Minnesota game, with only 25% of the snaps, he had 3 quarterback hits. And understand, those quarterback hits add up. That's a good thing. And then, of course, this past week with Washington, he had 2 sacks. He got his first sack, first and second one of the season, with 3 solo tackles and 2 tackles for a loss and 2 quarterback hits. Literally, when you look at this defense, you look at a guy like that and say, that guy's playing. That guy is really playing well. And you look at that and say, okay, let's get him in the offseason, get him really into shape, start really coaching him up. And you look at him and say, that's a great compliment to D-Law. Now, and on the other side of the fence, DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence started off kind of slow, but DeMarcus Lawrence has been playing better. He's still dealing with some nagging injuries and things, but you like what you have from that standpoint. You also have to like Aldon Smith. Although Aldon Smith started out really, really great, he came back down to earth, but still is a good piece. But one of the biggest things that you feel better about is when you think about how many safeties we've gone through. We had Darryl Worley in here, where we brought in Clinton Dix, and you've seen play from our safeties that just has not been really, really good. When you start seeing Donovan Wilson, where he ended up jacking them up in the Steelers games, you see him beginning to make some plays positive. He still has a long ways to go, but you start feeling like, okay, this guy at least is a headhunter. He's at least being able to lay the wood, unlike some of the other wood players out there that haven't been able to lay the wood. So I'm trying to be more positive. I look at this and I say, Antoine Woods is another nice piece that we could have in our defense. I look at and say that Gallimore, the Canadian bulldozer, Neville, is another piece that you really like on that defense. And you have some pieces now you look at and say, okay, we don't need a complete revamp. We need some players in at safety. We need some more cornerbacks, because we're missing Diggs, another guy that I like. And we need some more help at linebacker. But from the standpoint of saying that this defense is just god-awful and we just need 11 new players, I don't feel like we need 11 new players. And in fact, as people say that I'm just so negative, I'm actually not negative when it comes to where I think we'll be next year. I have questions in coaching, but I know when we start getting some of these players back and we have some more time to implement a system, I think we'll be better. And so, with that being said, we are now about 10 minutes closer to watching the Giants. So, I hope I see you guys here for the game. I'm Mark Holmes, and I'll talk to you soon.